hi, I didn't see you there.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to the One Piece Forum YouTube channel. My name is Marco,
And I am Jawa.
and today we will be doing a video suggested by commenter Shinjo Jin about the various fighting styles in the One Piece universe.
Yeah, so we've broken it down into three separate categories. We've got the martial arts, which is pretty much all the weird stuff, and then swordsmanship or weaponry, and devil fruit powers. So
Yeah.
let's sort of get started.
Okay, I'll start with martial arts. The first one on the list is the Okama Kempo, or New Kama Kempo, which is the newer version. The old-style Kempo is done mainly by Bongre, Mr. 2. He uses ballet-style movements in his kicks. And then there's a New Kama Kempo, which I don't remember being really very well explained, but that's the Kempo used by the Queens, I believe is the correct term, for the Okama and the Kamabaka Kingdom, of which there are 99 masters who Sanji had to defeat during the time skip. As a martial arts style, it's relatively unknown, but we hope to see more in the future.
Do we really? We could really just discuss this. Like, do we want to see Newcomer Kempo in the future?
Yeah.
I'd be happy if I never saw it again, to be honest. And I think Sanji would agree.
No, it's not Sanji, yeah. Poor Sanji.
He's pretty much traumatized there, exactly.
Alright, next up we have the Rokushiki, the 6 techniques, mainly used by world government fighters, mastered by the CP9. Do you happen to know these 6 techniques?
Yes. Off the top of my head. Soru, Tekai,
Yes.
Rankaki, Shigan, Geppo, Kami-e, and then finally Rokugan. So basically these are just techniques used to enhance your own sort of movement and your own body. So you can make your pokes be very, very strong. You can make your body weigh a lot, and you can make your body also weigh very little. And you can move really fast with Soru. So these were sort of the pinnacle of fighting before the time skip even, really. So and I've sort of been wondering, because we had the big discussion on Haki last week, but do you reckon that Haki has made Rokushiki irrelevant or redundant?
I think for quite a few of them it has done. For Tekai, obviously, Armament Haki is a stronger version of that. For Kami-e, the Observation Haki is kind of a one-up on that. And then even, I think you mentioned Shigan when we were discussing before as being something that you can just do with Haki. That you can have a Haki-imbued finger pistol. Yeah. However, the movement-related ones are the ones that haven't been replaced as Soru and Geppo, which Luffy and Sanji respectively have adapted. Luffy into Gear Second and Sanji into Skywalk.
I definitely agree. So like Armament really sort of takes over the Tekai, which is because Armament is pretty much iron, and Tekai is iron body. Like, it's the exact same thing, but Haki just appears to be a lot easier to sort of utilize. Geppo we've seen in Sanji, as you said, Soru. So do you reckon that, obviously Sanji pretty much has Geppo down pat, no worries, but do you reckon Luffy will be able to learn Soru without Gisecond?
Possibly for sure. Because we already know he's pretty fast. Doflamingo pointed that out for us in that fight. He could. Whether he does in the end is another question, because it may turn out that he doesn't need it, since the negative effects of Gear Second are kind of negated. Due to his time skip training.
True.
Okay. Next up, we have more species-specific kind of martial arts. Starting off with Fishman Karate, which is almost exclusively used by fishmen. However, there is one non-fishman that uses it. It's Koala. And essentially that, according to Jinbei, the way that works is you use the water around you to create shockwaves that mess with the water that makes up your opponent's body, since, well, humans at least are 70% water, fishmen might be more. Who knows, yeah. That is the only one that's got, like, clear levels. So, for example, Hack uses the 4,000 brick fist. Jinbei uses the 5,000 brick fist. So that's they kind of have noted levels of mastery.
Yeah.
Do you think other styles, like, do you think Rokushiki has something kind of like that, with like a power level?
Doriki, like, it's pretty much given. I mean, Doriki sort of is physical strength in general, but like you can sort of work it out, because Lucci's, like, you can compare, say, I always forget his names. I just call him Chapapa, which is what Frankie called him. But you have Chapapa's tech guy, which got wrecked by Frankie's hammer. I can't remember what it was, just a punch. But then that did nothing against Lucci. So there are definitely varying strengths of tech guy, and there's probably similar stories with Soru. Like Soru Kobe, for example, seems to use it a lot less confidently. And stuff like, Rankakyu, which was Kaku's specialty. Like, there's lots of different levels and ways of utilizing them, which are different and things. But back to Fishman Karate for a sec. It sort of raises an interesting sort of point, because we know a sort of standard human, like a human who's got nothing special about her, has become good enough to be a Fishman Karate instructor. Yeah. So that's Koala, and she sort of, and you can understand that obviously she grew up with those fishermen, the Sun Pirates, for a bit. Yeah. So she's had that sort of external influence. But like up until then, we never knew if Fishman Karate was exclusive to the Fishman race, because it seemed like it was. And it, when Jimmy explains it, you're controlling the water around, people and just the water around you in general. It makes it seem like, because obviously we as normal humans on Earth can't do that, so we just assume that normal humans in One Piece couldn't do that. But then koalas come along and just been like, yeah, they can. So that really opens up a sort of, well, not a can of worms, it opens up a very big possibility for more growth
for sure.
in sort of the Straw Hats. So if we see someone like, I don't know, Sanji using Fishman Karate in his kicking, just as an example, like it really opens up a lot of possibilities.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's quite a powerful form of martial arts, considering what it manipulates. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have the Tontata combat, which is it's a similar story. The martial arts less complex. They just essentially use their tails and incorporate that into their fighting style. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on that. I mean, like, it's cool. Tontatas are pretty strong naturally. I think their strength actually got really sort of underrated towards the end of Dressrosa, but as a sort of martial arts aspect, like, I don't it's cool.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's not a martial art in particular, but then there's the Minks have their unique ability Electro, which allows them to channel electricity through their bodies and use it to shock their opponents. Which I think's pretty cool. Could we see non-Minks do it potentially?
Well, like when you get a balloon and you rub it on your head and that does static. Why not? I mean, that's essentially what the Minks do, it's just that they have fur all over their bodies. I mean, you just get a really, really hairy dude, and I don't see why not. I mean, there's probably something in the genetic makeup of a mink that allows that to happen more naturally than a human, but I don't see how. I mean, if it's possible to do it with static electricity, then I don't see why that should not extend to human hair and stuff. So, I mean, it'd be pretty cool, and it'd be really weird, but sorry, go.
The Minks are a naturally strong race, actually. When you think about it, like at the start of Zoe, when Carrot kind of lunges at Zoro, you can see Zoro's having to put in quite a bit of effort to hold her back. And then they all say, like, from birth they're all raised to be fighters. It's good signs for the alliance that Luffy's formed.
Yeah, definitely. Oda's just going to keep making more of these awesome allies to join. Yeah, it's just going to keep getting awesomer.
Yeah. Right, next up we have Swordsman. Would you like to take the floor with this one?
Yeah, okay. So Swordsman, like, just the swords category alone has, like, a massive range of sort of techniques associated with swords. And then you've also got weapons in general. We've got like marksmanship, you've got Nami's climb attack, you've got a whole bunch of weapons that sort of have no limit. But just sort of focusing on swords in particular, we have people like Brook, Zoro, Kaku. You know, there's almost an infinite range. So if we start off, let's start with Brook. So Brook is definitely more of a speed type sort of sword fighter. He's got no flesh or organs, which, you know, really reduces weight. So he uses that to, you know, not only in his swordsmanship, but obviously to walk on water and stuff. But yeah, he attacks very fast, very strong, very sort of, you know, rapidly. You can't see it, blink of an eye stuff. So that's very nice. And then you've also got power types. And power types sort of extend to people like, you know, your Zoros, your Ryumas. I'd actually go so far to say Kaku, and then definitely Mihawk as well as a big power type. So yeah. Anything you really want to say about that? Oh.
Yeah, like, I think some of like the unique styles, like Zoro's three swords style, for example, and then like those are already cool, and that's a way of taking something that should just be like two guys like slashing at each other. It makes it kind of unique to each character, which is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you take styles like Kinemon's fire swords, and Vista's the flower sword thing, which we don't know if it's a devil fruit yet, but you know, if it is, then I mean, it's cool that he's incorporating his devil fruit, and then if it's not, then he's producing freaking flowers from his sword, so it's pretty dope. Yeah, and swordsmen in general, they're quite valuable. If you get me, like all like the big crews have someone who can do the sword thing pretty well. Yeah. And
typically that fight goes to Zoro versus swordsman.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So just carrying on.
You got anything else?
Oh, I don't know. I guess you could also mention, like, as you said, the way you sort of twist the convention of two people slashing at each other, because when we sort of compare shonen and anime and stuff and manga to other shonen manga, like, we don't often see that many sort of discrepancies, and then we also forget that sort of the basis for everything is just the idea of two normal humans with a sword trying to cut each other in half. And like, when you consider the creativity that, you know, Oda and other mangaka apply just to sort of make that seem so much more interesting, so tense, so sort of intense, like, it's something that's really sort of impressive. But again, he didn't have to work from the ground up, but it is still something I think is really cool in general. Okay, so we have swords now. Obviously, haki has incorporated itself into pretty much every aspect, even the martial arts styles, as we talked about with Rakushiki. But we also have haki with swords, and I don't think we've seen haki do anything that's sort of differently with swords. Like, they still use swords the same way, but with a haki bonus. But, I mean, it could open up a big can of possibilities. Like, anything you want to say about that?
Like, haki slashes.
Yeah, definitely.
For example, like, just slashing like a huge like wall of haki, like Mihawk's that massive slash he did in Marineford, just that like coated in black. Pretty dangerous. And
we've already gotten proof that haki does get imbued into sword slashes, because when we had Zoro vs Monet, before he did the big psychological sword dragon thing, he used the haki air slash from his sitting down position to cut Monet's cheek. So definitely it's already known to be something that can happen, and now we've just yet to see that sort of escalate in, you know, in its use. And exactly, and I don't think, actually, you said the slash would be coated in haki. I'm not sure. I don't know. It could definitely, but I don't know. That'd just be really weird, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, the last category we've got are devil fruit eaters. I mean, we covered devil fruits a bit in a previous video, but this is more kind of the fighting style base. Like all of them do use their devil fruit somehow in their fighting style. except maybe Brook because Soul. Oh no, even Brook does. Even Brook does in the end.
Yeah,
because he has the whole Land of the Dead, the ice.
Yeah, and he also can break himself apart and put himself back together.
Yeah, and then I mean, even like we've seen with the Meramarinese, Sabo and Ace use it differently. So everybody's fighting style with a Devil Fruit is unique, regardless of how similar or not the Devil Fruit is.
Yeah, exactly. And like we could sit here all day and say this Devil Fruit user fights like this, and all of the styles essentially like Oda's obviously crafted to work around the Devil Fruits, because otherwise it'd just be a waste to give a person like a kilo Devil Fruit and make them a swordsman. Like, you know, Miss Valentine and freaking crap. What's the other guy's name? The sumo wrestler of Doflamingo. Anyway, not important. Mark is something. Anyway, they obviously fight. Yeah, much vast that one. Yeah. They obviously fight using that weight bonus that their Devil Fruits give them. So like, it all changes. Like freaking Magellan hardly moves. He hardly moves as he just casts poison everywhere. You know, Enel jumps around, Kizaru jumps around. Like it's all unique and it's all really creative. Yeah. So I really like them.
Yeah. Yeah. One question that is kind of raised a lot, like is raised by characters throughout the series, and we're going to raise it now, is are some Devil Fruit users too reliant on their abilities in combat? Like the first example that comes to my head is Boa Hancock with the love beam or whatever. Yeah. And she just turns people into stone and then kicks them and they're done. Like, do you think it's more I have this ability so I'll use it like this, or I don't need to work on like my basic fighting skills as much because I have this cool ability?
It's a bit of both, and it depends on characters, I guess, because you can't just say every Devil Fruit user relies entirely on the Devil Fruit, or every Devil Fruit doesn't use the Devil Fruit. Like, you know, there's obviously a balance that changes with every single character. But I mean, definitely, it can definitely appear that way, that they are too reliant and they are sort of overconfident on their own abilities, because that's sort of how Oda structured them to fight. Like, and sometimes they have no alternative. So someone like Perona, say, she has no physical prowess at all that could, you know, last, like, you know, be useful to her. So she just fights with her ghost, with her, you know, doppelganger ghost thingy, and she just flies around. And with Hancock, actually, you said that she waits for people to fall in love with her and then turns them into stone.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, but it's not like that's the only way she fights, because she can just turn stuff into stone by physical contact regardless. So, like, there's typically a sort of way that Oda balances it out. Yeah. Which, you know, makes it all seem fair. But, I mean, there are definitely sort of references, even within the One Piece universe, of Devil Fruit users, particularly Logias, being overconfident in their abilities, and that being sort of their downfall. And, that's true in some cases, but sometimes, like, the people have gotten only as far as they have on the Devil Fruit power, and they have no alternative available to them anymore.
Weaker, like, guys who get weaker Devil Fruits that end up maximizing them are pretty fun to see as well, like Luffy. It's probably the prime example, like the Rubber Fruit. At the beginning, like, when in his childhood days was saying, you can't fight with that, can you? It's rubber. But he's gone and proved us wrong and set out a whole load of ridiculously creative techniques. Using what really is stretching ability.
But I mean, that said, though, it's not just that it's a Rubber Fruit, it's that it's a Rubber Fruit on Luffy, who's a very strong individual and can actually like use his own natural strength to allow his arm to stretch with that sort of power that it has. And like, you know, stuff like rifle, like everything that he uses, save perhaps his gears, relies solely on, or are only useful because of, his own natural strength. So like, there is that balance there, and we can't just say, oh, he's got a weak fruit, you know, worked hard, he's made the fruit good. It's that he's good and he's sort of Do you reckon it was harder for him to like learn basic combat skills because of like, it's almost a handicap at the start, isn't it, his ability? Do you think like he had to go through like a fair amount to like not just make it useful but to like be physically strong when he's made of rubber? This is actually a mad, like, this conversation about the rubber thing. It's got like there's been a whole bunch of sort of debate as to its exact effects on Luffy, Because
Yeah.
I sort of had the idea a couple years ago where it's like, oh, if he's all rubber, then how can he eat? How can he taste? You know, if his tongue is rubber, how can he sort of move around and stuff?
Yeah.
And sort of the answer that I've got to that is that the properties are added on to what's already there. So it's not that.
Right.
So yeah, so it's not that the tongue turns into rubber. It's that it also stretches like rubber on top of everything it already has. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you consider
yeah.
that, I guess like from that angle, no, it is not harder for Luffy to learn how to punch because his arms are exactly the same as they were before, only that they can also stretch now. So like, it's a bit of a give and take there. But no, I don't think he trained any harder to get physically where he was than any other person, but to use his devil fruit as he does now, yes, he would have trained harder too.
Yeah. Then to flip the question on its head, do non-devil fruit users have a tougher break trying to reach like the top levels of skill compared to guys who basically are just given broken devil fruits? Like for example, Law's Ope Ope no Mi. Like while it is awesome, like is probably one of the most overpowered fruits in the series. And then that puts him at a huge advantage over, like your average pirate swordsman.
Yep. No, definitely. I mean, that's the thing. If you had asked me that question, 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, I don't know how long it is, before the time skip, definitely yes. There is no way that a non-devil fruit user can get up to the level of a devil fruit user. Yeah. There's nothing to close that gap. But now there's Haki, and Haki closes the gap, almost to completeness. So, I mean, in the end, you get the strongest, two people of exactly the same strength, like the strongest in the world, and then you give one a devil fruit, then the one with the devil fruit is probably going to be stronger. So yes, non-devil fruit users typically I expect to work hard, and like as I said before, some individuals only get as far as they have come, battle-wise because of the devil fruit. So without the devil fruit, there would be literally nothing. So like they have to put in almost no work in terms of getting stronger to reach their strength. This is just all devil fruit. Whereas people like Kid and Zoro have purely not Kid, sorry, Killer and Zoro.
Killer,
have just purely their own strength and their own skill to rely on. So yeah, definitely it's a harder thing without devil fruit.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is like Shanks, like in his crew, they're basically all said to be just like Haki masters, and they seem to be like at the top of the tree.
Yeah.
In the new world, so the Haki in the end does sort of close that gap.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, whilst is good, it also raises other questions like devil fruit users with Haki. Then that's like an added bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for watching.
All right, thank you to Shinjojin for the question. We had a lot of fun discussing this and getting it into video form. Check out the other stuff on the channel. There's chapter reviews coming out every week by Frankie and usually Mapache. Maybe I'll have another special guest.
Yeah,
maybe we'll have a special guest one day. Who knows?
Don't jinx it, man. Come on, man. I need you.
Yeah, no one wants to work with us anymore. Damn it. Anyway, like the video. If you want to see us discuss anything in particular, you can leave a comment, and we'll do our best to get it to you as soon as possible.
And if you want to leave any more suggestions, also leave a comment. Suggestions are good.
Yeah, suggestions are great. Check out the forum. We've got a load of wonderful theories there. And subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of the groundbreaking content that we're pushing out.
Yeah, you might get your future predicted. Like anything can happen on the forum.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
You don't know. Mystic Marco and Mystic Jawa could be coming out next week.
Get ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a wizard hat.
Yeah.
Jawa out.
Marco's gonna